Death of Salesman by Miller from Europe. Teacher Kadonji is a global analyst, and today he has brought you analysis of the favorite play from Europe titled Death of Salesman, written in 1949 by Miller, with the aim of teaching society about what is happening in the society. That is why I, Teacher Kadonji from Tanzania, East Africa, I'm reminding you to Miller's Death of Salesman through my channel. I'm asking you to listen to me. Death of Salesman in 1949 stage play, written by American playwright Miller. The play addresses loss of identity, a man's inability to accept change within himself and society, and premiered on Broadway, February 1949, running for 742 performances. It is a two-act tragedy set in late 1940s, broken, told through a montage of memories, dreams, and argument of the protagonistic Will Loman, a traveling salesman who is responded with his life and appears to be spring into sanity. The play addresses a variety of themes such as American dream, the anatomy of truth and infidelity. Death of Salesman refer to both the literal and the figurative death of Will Lomas. He commits suicide at the end of the play, but in many ways he has already died before the car crash. His reputation is in tatters. He has lost his identity and he has no hope for the future. Will conflict of self, delusions, unhappiness, and discontent are never resolved in Death of Salesman. Perhaps this is why it becomes difficult for the reader to define a specific climax in the dramatic structure. The scene in which Will is fired might be identified as climatic. Will Lomas represents an antagonistic both toward himself and toward his sons. By Will's unrealistic dreams of becoming and thinking that he is a great man, he neglects to realize reality. In the Death of Salesman ending, Will realized he is never live up to his own expectation, drives off in his car, and commits suicide. His grand scheme was for his life insurance policy to give Brief a chance to live life Will had never been able to live for himself. The main themes and symbols of Death of Salesman include family, relationships, and at large, the shortcoming of the American dream, and all of its consequences, namely financial well-being that can afford people certain luxuries. The character of Death of the Salesman consists of Roman's families, comprises of Will, Linda Beef, and Happy, their neighbor Charles, and his successful son Bernard, Will's employer Howard Wagner, and the woman in Boston with whom Will had an affair. Iron is seen the end of the Death of Salesman. Will kill himself after he has taken out of life insurance policy. Iron is also seen the fact that he is constantly seeking for success that never comes. Happy, Beef, and Will meet for dinner at the restaurant, but Will refuses to hear the bad news from Hill. Happy tries to coax Beef to lie to their father. Beef tries to tell him that what happened, as Will gets angry and slips into a flashback of what happened in Boston. The day Beef came to see him, Beef had come to Boston to ask Will to to convince Beef teacher to carve Beef failing mass grade so he could graduate. However, Will was in the middle of an extramarital affair with a receptionist when Beef arrived unexpectedly and saw the half-dressed woman. With him, Beef did not accept his father's cover-up story for her presence and angrily dismissed him as a liar and a fake before storming out. From that moment, Beef's views of his father changed and set him adrift. Beef leaves the restaurant in frustration, followed by Happy and two girls whom Happy picked up, leaving a confused and upset Will behind. When they later return home, Linda angrily confronts them for abandoning their fathers while Will remains outside. Talking to himself, Beef tries to reconcile with Will, but the discussion quickly escalates into emotional conflict. Beef conveys plainly to his father that he is not a means to anything, Grit insisting that both of them are simply ordinary men meant to lead ordinary lives. The argument reaches an apparent climax as Beef hangs Will and begins to cry as he tries to get Will to let go of his unrealistic expectations. Rather than listen to what Beef actually says, Will appear to believe his son has forgiven him and will follow in the footsteps, and after Linda goes upstairs to bed, lapses on final time into thinking he's talking to his long-dead West brother Ben. In Will's mind, Ben approves of the scheme. Will has dreamed up to take his own life in order to give Beef his life insurance man to help him start a business. Will exists in the house and Beef and Linda cry out in despair at the sound of Will's car flares up and fades out. The car crashes and Will dies. The final scene takes place at the Will's funeral. Linda and Happy stand in shock after Will's poorly attended funeral owned by his family. Charles and Bernard, the funeral Beef, upholds his belief that he does not want to become a businessman like his father. Happy, on the other hand, chooses to follow in his father's footsteps, while Linda asks Will for forgiveness for being unable to cry. She begins to sob, repeating, "We're free, all exist," and the flute melody in here that the curtain falls. The lesson which I learned this play. The play demonstrates how a person self-perpetuates, then can impact those around him and include them. Ultimately, Will's tragic end with a failure to realize the American dream. In Days of Sales, the tragic hero is Will Loman. The tragic flaw that leads to his downfall is his pursuit of the American dream in a way that makes it untenable to him. Ultimately, Will would have never been able to get American dream for himself in the ways he wanted it. In this play, there are characters employed as the symbols for others. Number one is Will Loman's car as the symbol of freedom and success. And number two, Linda Loman's stocking as the symbol of illusion and deception. Number three, Beef Loman's football as the symbol of missed opportunity. Characters employed by Arthur Miller. Number one is William we call it Loman, the titular salesman. The product he's selling is never disclosed. Number two is Linda Loman's Will's loyal and loving wife. Number three is Beef Loman's Will's elder son. Number four is Harold Hype, Loman, Will's young son. He has lived in the shadow of his older brother. Themes found in this play reality and illusion. Reality and illusion are prominent themes in Death of Salesman. The play uses flashback to present Willie's memories, but it is unclear whether they are accurate. He makes up lies about his and Beef's success. The more he indulges in the illusion, the harder it is for him to face reality. Beef realizes the problem and wants to face the truth in his conflict. The play shows how the American dreams could be a lie. That is the end of the narration of today. Goodbye.